It is 6 o'clock on October 27th, the public meeting or public hearing for the Vernon Hills Park Board of Commissioners. Could I have a call to order, please? Pledge of allegiance, if we could all stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Commissioner Senti.
Here.
Commissioner Kessler.
Here.
President Dorhofer.
Here. The Bond Issue Notification Act hearing is now open. The purpose of the bond issue notification hearing is to hold a public hearing to provide the opportunity for the public to make comments concerning the board's intent to sell general obligation limited tax park bonds before the board formally votes on the adoption of a board ordinance. The Board of Park Board Commissioners intends to sell general obligation limited tax park bonds in 2022, 2023, and 2024 in the aggregate amount not to exceed $3,700,000 for the payment of land condemned or purchased for parks, for the building, maintaining, improving, and protecting of the same, and the existing land and facilities of the district. An ordinance providing the issuer of approximately $1,140,410 general obligation limited park tax bonds, Series 2022, will be on the November 17th, 2022 board agenda. Are there any comments and/or questions for the park districts with respect to the upcoming proposed bonds? There being no comments or questions from the public with respect to the proposed issuance of the bonds, oral commitments may be given to the podium. As there have been no questions or comments with respect to the proposal of the issuance of the bonds, the Bond Issue Notification Hearing Act is now closed. May I have a motion to adjourn the hearing? Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Senti.
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. We are now adjourned. The time is now 4 minutes after 6 o'clock on October 27th. The regular board meeting of the Vernon Hills Park District Board of Commissioners is called to order. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Senti.
Here.
Commissioner Kessler.
Here.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
President Dorhofer.
Here. May I have a motion to amend the order of the agenda to allow for the new business items A and B to follow public comment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
Commissioner Senti.
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. First item on the agenda is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Items on the omnibus vote agenda for this evening are the minutes of the regular board meeting dated September 29, 2022, payables and payroll through October 27th, 2022 in the amount of $639,345.48. May I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Senti.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Yes.
President Dorhofer.
Yes. At this time, the board would like to welcome visitors and guests for a public comment period. Is there anybody wishing to address the board at this time? If you could please step to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Lori Burgess, and I live at 312 Southfield Drive, Vernon Hills, of course, in Grosse Pointe Village. I've been a resident there at that home for 33 years, and I live just down the street from Grosse Pointe Park. And I first met the Vernon Hills Park foreman, Rick Croza, who's no longer here. But we started talking then because my husband and I planted a tree in the park as a memorial for a neighbor whose daughter had died very young. And through that relationship, I met Rick Croza, the foreman, and I noticed that because COVID had just started, that a lot of people were using the park, either walking or using the equipment there, and that there really wasn't many places to sit down other than at the designated sports equipment, like the playground, the basketball court, or the tennis courts. That if you were just walking along the paths, there really wasn't a place to sit down and rest, or if you're walking your dog. So I talked with him about it 3 years ago, and he kept saying, we'll put it on the agenda, we're talking about it, I have it on the board. And I noticed he left, and I thought this would be a good time to bring it up again. I do have some pictures with me of some suggested areas that I think would be good for the walkers, because a lot of people do sit on that retaining wall that is for the parking lot over by the soccer field. And I think it would be nice if we had some benches for people to use. So I do have some signatures that I collected a few weeks ago of people walking around asking them if they would be supportive of benches on the trails, and everyone was very excited about it. So I got like 4 pages of signatures. And then also I would just like to finish up adding that on the north side of Grosse Pointe Boulevard, which I know isn't the park, but there are 3 benches and they're all leaning, crooked. So maybe if someone could do something about that. I know a lot of people are hesitant to sit on it because they think they're going to fall over. So I have pictures of the proposed bench areas, which would be nice, and the crooked benches, and then our list of signatures. So could I maybe pass that around?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So that is all. I hope you'll consider the proposal for more benches. I think it would be a benefit to our neighborhood and all the people that walk there and everyone that lives in the community. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your coming. Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? All right, the next item on the agenda is James Kim. Would you like to introduce our guests?
I just wait.
Yeah, just to clarify, public comment period.
Oh, pardon me?
Just to clarify, we don't respond in public comment period. We just take it in, and then we'll disseminate the information later.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm James Kim, the park superintendent. I've been in charge of the Parks Department and facility maintenance for the last 6 years, and prior to that, I was the facility foreman. I'm here just to introduce my 2 supervisors and then their staff that work under them. In total, there's 13 of us. There used to be 14, but 1 left and moved to Florida. That was Tom Botkin, but he has been a long time employee. Maybe some of you remember him from Lashen. So I want to introduce first Dave Swike, who's our facility foreman, and he'll introduce some of our facility maintenance staff that are here tonight.
Hello, I'm David Swag, Facilities Foreman. I've been doing property maintenance, facilities, grounds, facilities, and aquatics maintenance since 2006. I've been with the Park District since 2013. I started over at the Lakeview Building as the facility maintenance technician over there, and then in 2016, I came over here to become the facilities foreman. My facility staff like to introduce themselves. Sean?
Hello, I'm Sean Ryan. I've been working here at Sullivan on PMs. They don't let me out during the day. Going on 6 years here, just maintaining the building here.
Hello, everybody. Tanner Williams, facility maintenance technician. I've been doing facility maintenance for roughly 5 years. I've been with the district for about 10. And then I work at the pool in here, and I take care of the mechanicals over there. I help Dave, and then I help Sean I do during the day. I clean here, and that's it. Oh, and I did PALS for what, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. That's it.
Not present tonight is Stefan Dobre. He's been with the Park District since 2011. He's currently over at the Lakeview Building as the facility maintenance technician. And before that, he was here at Sullivan for custodial maintenance.
Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Merrick. I've been doing parks since probably after college. I first started working at Elmhurst Park District recently before I was hired here. I worked at Maine West High School in Des Plaines. I've been here about 8 months, I'd say. No, 9 months, excuse me. My responsibilities here are working with James. He's obviously in charge. I'm also in charge of all the guys here that you see. I'll introduce them in a few minutes. I also do emails, calls from patrons. I also deal with contracts. I deal with special events. I work with Mark and Pete from Public Works. I also work with Jack, Tom, Lacey, as well as Heather when they have events as well. And then who I have here, Jerry Hughes is behind me. No, not yet. Jerry Hughes is behind me. Jerry Hughes is behind me. He's a park maintenance 2/mechanic. I actually had to ask Amy this because I asked Jerry and we weren't sure. He's been here 25 years, right? Exactly. 25 years and 3 months, I guess. His responsibilities are parks maintenance. He does small mechanical repairs, and he's also very knowledgeable about the parks being here for so long. After that, I have George. I'm not going to say his last name because I will butcher it very badly. I've already told him that. George, how do I say your last name?
Embarrassed.
Veras?
Matt, you should know that by now.
I don't want to butcher people's names. He's a park maintenance specialist 1. He's been employed here 11 years. And he also does park maintenance, event setups. I'll let you hear more from him. Next on the list is Carrie Matsowicz? Matisik. Carrie Matisik. She's a park maintenance 1. She's been here for 6 years. She takes care of CPN. She does park maintenance, and she's on the park committee as well. Next is John Christensen. He's a park maintenance 2 and also our ball field specialist. He's been here 6 years. He does the painting of the fields, spraying, and basic general ball maintenance. Correct, John? All right. Then I have Chris Moorhead, who's also here. He's been an employee here a little bit longer than me, about a year. He's a park maintenance specialist 1. His responsibility are working alongside John with the ball fields, as well as mowing the ball fields and park maintenance as well. I have 3 employees who were not here. Unfortunately, one of them got ill this morning, so I told him, go home, don't come. And then I have 2 on vacation. The first one is Gabby Rodriguez. He's a park maintenance specialist 2, and he does our water management, He's been here 24 years, so him and Jerry are obviously the senior people at parks. He also does water and lake management and maintenance for all of our lakes around here. He works with Lake County on that, and he also takes care of Hartman and SRA building before they moved to Mundelein. Andy is the one who was not feeling well, so he's been here 10 years total, 8.5 years full-time. He helps out with the parks. He's also our safety training coordinator. He coordinates with Amy on that as well. He deals with lighting in the parks. I know we've had some issues with Deer Path, but we finally got that under control with our electrical contractor, and then he does general park maintenance. And then our last person who's not here is James Schubert. He's a park maintenance specialist 2, and he's our arborist. So he's responsible for tree care and maintenance. He's also responsible for planting new trees. And our tree program, which is GIS, where we track the trees and we see what ones need to be taken care of better or taken down. And then I will let everybody speak. Jerry, you're up first.
My name's Jerry Hughes. I've been here a little over 25 years, and I help mow grass, do tree work, carpentry work, plumbing, just about whatever we have to do. We all pitch in and do it. That's about it. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
George?
Hello, my name is George Olivares. I take care of Peterson Park, Hawthorne Melody, Lake Charles, and I've been here for 11 years.
It's you.
Carrie Matisik. I have a lot of fun with the guys doing what we do every day. It's always something different. I guess that's why I like my job. I will have to say I take care of Century Park. It's a lot of work. I would say that my favorite thing is in the morning. I am like the Walmart greeter of the park. So I wave, smile. We have language gaps between different races. So I have Indian people that pray to me and Ukrainians that say don't speak English, but I still wave. I enjoy painting park signs with Gabby in the wintertime. We do all of the sanding and retouch up all the colors and try to make them look nice. I know that's on one of our goals to do list to start improving our beds and stuff, so it should look nice with new paint jobs. Just do everything, tree work, mowing, a little bit of this and that, and I think that's what makes it fun every day because we're always doing something different. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm John Christensen. I usually don't look this good. Was told I could not wear my work clothes. Chris and I take care of athletic fields, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, volleyball courts,
Softball.
softball. Usually super busy from May until mid-July with tournaments. And I also take care of VHAC, so I paint all the soccer fields, football fields there also. So usually pretty fun job. I get a little dirty sometimes, all the time. And right now, when we get a chance, we try to renovate stuff. Just top dressed the lacrosse fields and reseeded those. Did the same with the soccer field over at Deer Path. We are redoing the warning tracks over at Grosse Point right now. So we'll have 44 tons of new screening on there and made them a little wider and bigger. And just trying to renovate a baseball field or softball field one a year. So that's about it.
Chris, bring it home.
Will say he's never looked that good before, so. My name is Chris Moorhead. I've been here only a year, a little bit longer because I started in April the year before. I'm a retired educator, administrator that fell into pretty much a perfect retirement job, I think. My background's with athletics, so working with John on the athletic fields is a great opportunity for me. I don't have all the parents yelling at me or kids screaming at me, so it's kind of nice. I enjoy the work. I'm a resident of Vernon Hills, been here for 35 years now. Raised 3 kids that went through Vernon Hills High School, and all that, and they're all done and married and all out, and it's all kind of fun for my wife and I. Again, I always say if John can grow it, I'll groom it. We make the fields look really nice, and again, having this time to repair some fields and make them even better is a great time for us to be doing it. So I enjoy my work. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much for what you do, because one of the main things we hear at the park board level is how wonderful the parks are and how vital they are to our community, and that's all a direct reflection on you. So thank you all very much for what you do. It is greatly appreciated. So,
You want to get a picture, Dave, with
Yep,
the board?
absolutely.
That would be great.
We can. So let's do this. Why don't you guys stay there? If I can ask all the men and women, just go behind the dais, kind of line up in between the commissioners or behind them. And then Cheryl's going to get a photo.
Put the board in front of the dais. You can pull it down if you need to. We may need to pull the screen down.
Shorter people up.
Can we pull that screen down behind you?
Yeah.
Just for a backdrop.
Front center. Front and center. Matt, you next one. Me in front of one?
Why don't you just sit on it right time?
Perfect.
Get cozy. Close together. Let's see, James, I need you a little bit.
Kind of like a kid to throw or something, because all the guys are here. No one's gonna clean it up.
Thank you all very much.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great, you're not gonna stick around for the rest of the meeting?
We're gonna talk, and we're gonna talk some more.
Okay, no worries. Are you?
Anything.
You know what I mean?
Who's first? Tom Poulos.
Great. It's super late for them.
Yep.
It's on a need-to-know basis, right?
The 11th or something? 10th.
All right, next item.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is the Lakeview update. Tyler and Tom, if you'd like to come to the podium and
Where's Tyler? He said, I told him 6:30, so. Well, Tom, go ahead. Yeah, he's there. Good evening.
Here he is.
Is this on?
All right, you're up first, Tyler, because they want an update, and I figured the construction should go first.
I'll go.
Yeah. I don't know that this is on, but maybe.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tyler Thiel, Camosi, project manager for the project we got going on over at the fitness center. I'll run through a few things here, and feel free to ask any questions you might have, and I'll try to answer them for you. Just touch on the addition itself right now. We had all of our truss system show up last week. All that is currently being installed. The trusses over the canopy area and the office conference room area are all installed with bracing as well, and the roof decking is, I believe it started going on today. So hopefully the decking over the canopy will be finished by the end of the day tomorrow, and we'll start early next week on the tongue and groove decking over the office areas and the hanging of the main trusses. The soffit framing on the exterior, that'll be wrapped in aluminum or metal panel. That is started this week and will continue into next week. They will then move into the office and conference room areas to start furring out the walls and building the walls in there for that for drywall. Let's see here. The glass for the entire addition is on site. We're just waiting on the aluminum frames. They're not ready to go in yet anyway due to us having to bring some equipment in to hang our main trusses. So that's on site. That's a good thing. And the parking lot itself got finished up yesterday with the striping today, and the plan is on either Monday the 31st or Tuesday the 1st to remove all of our barricades and open that up and turn that back over to the people at the facility for the folks to use. The pool itself is entirely done, minus a little bit of the HVAC unit work. Our new units showed up, they're all installed. We have a startup technician from the manufacturer showing up on Tuesday, November 1st, and Wednesday, November 2nd to start that unit up. If all goes according to plan, as it should, and that runs properly, we'll be able to turn the pool over either the 2nd or the 3rd of next week. The only thing missing in that entire area are the starting blocks. There's 2 of them in lanes, I believe, 5 and 3. They are not here yet, but they will be installed when they show up. So outside of that, all the other work in the pool is complete. The everywhere else in the building itself, the Group X room, the new one, that room is about 99% complete. There's just some glass and a door that needs to be installed, along with some trim across the new mirrors we installed. The locker rooms are what I'll call 99.9% complete. There might be one small touch-up thing on a punch list that we have to fix for that Williams sent our way. But outside of that, they are complete. And the pool lounge is 100% complete, and the lockers for the hall. The existing fitness area itself, we have the half wall up in there complete. We're just kind of waiting to finish the addition to be able to move everything into there and complete that work, which is somewhat minimal in comparison to everything else going on. So that's pretty much where we're at. We're pushing forward with hanging trusses, getting that roof on, and getting the building watertight to get the finishes going on the inside. So. Any questions?
Any questions? Commissioner Sente.
The area by the sauna and the steam room, where the warm water is, did I understand there's some issue with getting the rest of the tile to finish that up? Can you share?
A couple weeks ago, they were short. We were in there today. He was finishing the grout work. That's 100% done. I can't say for sure. I wasn't there at the end of the day when he left, but it'll be done and out of there tomorrow. We'll continue to do final cleaning in that area, hopefully tomorrow and Monday.
Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Roldo.
And this may not be for you, but I'm going to ask it. I was there last night, and as you walk into the new Group X room, there's like a dip in the ground. Is that for ADA purposes? No.
The reasoning for it, I think Tom will have to answer.
Okay.
But it's actually a ramp that goes up. I believe it's because of the grade height from the new building for the flooring.
I tripped on it, and I saw the sign, and then somebody pointed out the sign, and I said, oh, okay. So, okay, thank you.
There was an elevation change between the two.
Very quickly, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom? Sure.
Tom Polis, Williams Architects. We are the architectural firm supporting you all on that project. And Scott Morlock, who is my project manager and has been doing most of the supervision on this project, isn't available this evening due to some other commitments, but he has been there on a regular basis conducting field reports, citing what needs to be corrected and what's happening on the job site. He also has conducted preliminary punch lists for the pieces that are available to occupy, as you heard earlier with Tyler, and I know Camozzi is following up on those items that are outstanding, so he cited those items accordingly. From our perspective, things are going together, coming together nicely. I didn't hear the anticipated end date for the project, but maybe you could share that, Tyler.
Anticipated end date, I'd say it's going to be somewhere middle to late December. I should have touched on this a little more. The main reason for this, I know we were shooting for beginning, middle of November. The trusses for this building, which were a very, very big part. As I said, you can't do any of our interior finishes for any of that until we're roofed and watertight. Our original shipment date to receive those was the second to last week of August. They got pushed out 4 weeks due to material lead time, and they got pushed out an additional 2 weeks from that, and another, I'll call it a week and a half from that. And it would have been even longer. 3 days before that, we got them on the 17th of October, and whatever that Wednesday was before, I want to say it's the 13th or something, they actually sent an email and say the materials for the main trusses in the addition area were no longer available and they couldn't manufacture it, and they had an alternate use that they could use for it, and Scott specifically and Williams their engineers turned that around instantaneously to approve that, and we still got everything here on the 17th like they originally did, so. The goal here is the middle of December, end of December. Obviously, it's a little weather dependent, and we don't know what the weather does this time of year, so that's the plan. Once we get this thing roofed in, it should go together a lot quicker, but getting those trusses set and that roofing on building our pipe is main priority.
Thank you, Tyler. So we're out there. I think we got a couple cuts and not real shop drawings, just cuts and colors left from our end to get specified from a procurement perspective, and I believe it's the outdoor column wraps. Right now, you see the steel columns, but you don't see the architectural wrap around them, and then the underside of the soffit for the canopy. And so those we're intending will remain as per the rendering, and anodized aluminum on your cover wraps, and then kind of a warm color underneath the soffit to kind of pick up on what we had originally was a wood look, but we're not going to be able to do the wood look to the value engineering, so we're going to try to pick up a color that works in that palette. So from our perspective, everything's coming together nicely. The spatial relationships look good, and we're following along, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have on that.
Any questions for Tom? Commissioner Sente?
So what is the actual material that's on the undersurface of the canopy going to be?
It's a metal still, so from a durability perspective, you've got a good quality material there, but it's just not that impregnated wood look kind of canopy that we had originally when we were trying to save some money, that's all.
So the color of the metal will have a warm color?
Correct. That's what our goal is when we do the cut review. So that hopefully we get a standard color that looks somewhere close to there.
Is there anything we need to be doing to help you?
No, I think we're good. Just whatever, you see. Well, I guess I would only say if you see something that's alarming, bring it to our attention through Jeff, and we'll address those things early.
Very good. No other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Next item on the agenda is the spray ground update. If Ken Shakis, Rich Clark, and Ryan Eccles could come to the podium and.
Who wants to lead off?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, Ken Shafkus Brothers. Don't know most of you, but I do know Carol. It's been 20 some odd years, perhaps.
I think I've seen you before that, haven't I?
Have we?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're having a good time. You forgot, no?
Yeah, maybe. Just discuss basically budgeting, which is probably the most important thing, maybe. Currently, I think Jeff has shared with you where we're at with it, a little short of 2.6. We want to go through the process of revising those numbers as we go. We just got 50% drawings last week, and we had a conference call where we discussed that with the team. We're still missing quite a few items. If you've got it, and if it's in color in front of you, there's the red items, which I really didn't have anything to look at yet to provide a real good estimate on. So I wanted to be conservative. I'm thinking I'm high on all these numbers. I think they'll go lower once we get more produced drawings and we can start really doing takeoffs. We went through an exercise of reducing the plan considerably. There was a bunch of, or not bunch of, but 3 picnic shelters that were kind of added in to the project. We went through that and kind of decided that's not within the scope. Did a little reduction on the play features, which Ryan will speak to. But I think kept the basic feature intact and really didn't reduce it or diminish it in any way. Just kind of made everything compacted a little bit and shortened it up on the the west side, right? Northwest side. We kind of shrunk it back in a little bit on the splash pad. And initially, there was a very large sidewalk around the whole splash pad, which we determined we didn't really need that width of sidewalk, which reduced the price considerably there.
Am I looking at this one? Or no?
Looking at, I gave you, that was the original.
This is the original.
Original plan.
The one's up on the screen?
On the screen is the revised plan, and Ryan can come up and talk to you a little bit more about that. So when we go back to July, this was more or less a design that we had Ryan do. You wanted the boards, really the board came and said, let's try to cover this whole vast area with this spray ground. 10,000 square feet worth of a spray ground. Ken then took all the costs tied into that from WT's end and from Ryan's end. So you had all the consultants and then you had all the product there with Vortex. And that number came in right around 3 million. We went back to Ken and the project team and said, the board had back in, I think it was August, our August board meeting, we went through these conceptual plans, we picked a design, we informed Ryan of that to move with that, and with a not to exceed 2.3 million was the direction of the board at that time. So that's, obviously when you get a proposed budget that's, $600,000 to $700,000 north of what the board had prescribed, we needed to kind of do a little pencil sharpening and a lot of VE work. And that's what the team is at, where they're at right now. Now, to Ken's point too, these drawings you see are 50%. So WT is still working with a lot of other, Rich, you can probably speak a little bit more to the other tangible items, or Ken, as to what we're still anticipating, some sewer, some electric. And until we can get to that 100%, which hopefully maybe in the next
I think the schedule is 100% next Friday.
November 8th or something around there, maybe even earlier, November 4th.
In-house deadline.
Okay, maybe that's your in-house.
They're going to be coming out very soon.
So that'll give Ken, as our lead CM on it, the ability to kind of fine tune this budget. So for the benefit of the board, or for a conversation with the board tonight, I don't want you to be positioned like, okay, we got to cut this, because this thing is not going to bid until February. So what we want to just be able to do tonight is show you what the progress of the project is at this point. The original colored photo that you have in there is what Ryan and his team were prized to put together based on volume. We've since then pulled that back a little bit to try and, curtail some of the cost on that, and still feel very strongly with the elevation piece that you see. Ryan's group wasn't able to get you in the short turnaround with my ask to get you an updated, colored rendering. We'll have that probably for you next week, so you can get a better depiction, but at least you get this kind of site plan that he can walk you through and see some of the things that we had to remove from the project. But the elevation still exists, and I want to make sure, because I want to make sure the board is still comfortable with that. We've talked about, we want this thing to be destination. We want this thing to be really powerful to not only our citizens, but outside of our community to draw on. And that elevation piece still does that. And we'll talk a little bit more about, some of the other things that go along with that. Okay? Fair enough for now, and then you can ask questions along the way.
Yeah, I'll just elaborate a little bit on what Jeff was mentioning. So you can see the image on the screen is considerably different than the one that's in front of you. And I'll note that we've only removed one main feature, and it was the water journey. And it was a very expensive feature in comparison to what our typical splash pad features are priced at. So as Jeff was alluding to, we looked at this project and we thought, how can we keep the integrity of the project intact and create a destination splash pad while, removing some features that make sense to be removed. So by doing that, we removed the water journey, and the only thing in addition to that was 2 very small ground sprays. Other than that,
What's the water journey?
so it's the orange, like.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Correct. Other than that, all the features remain. I don't know if you guys remember one of the first meetings we had here. It was very packed, right? There was a lot of features there, and we removed a lot of the ground sprays out to kind of spread out some of the features so it wasn't so, jam-packed full of everything. So we had some extra room on the splash pad in which we could kind of spread things out and bring the square footage in a little bit to offset some of these concrete costs and decking costs that we see now. So really only removed one feature. It's definitely a different shape. But I can promise you, my goal is to work with you guys. I'm a partner with you guys, so if we need to discuss, how do we, reach our goal in the future, by no means is this a set in stone to what you guys are looking at now.
What was the cost savings for getting rid of that feature?
So the water journey, I want to say, is about $35,000, and the ground sprays are pretty inexpensive, maybe $500 each. So $37,000. Ken might be able to speak to this more. We saved about 1,500 square feet in concrete cost by doing this as well. So
Just
that,
the splash pad.
correct, yes.
Yeah, and then the sidewalk got reduced as well, so there was, we brought it down. Well, we eliminated out the proposed picnic shelters. There was 3 picnic shelters that were being thought about, which kind of crept into the scope. They weren't originally discussed, and so we opted to eliminate those. That was the lion's share of it, but we slimmed it down by 500,000, I think, or so, without touching the main structure. So that still stays.
Yep.
Commissioner Sente.
I just had a couple different comments and questions. Let me get, in the budget you gave us, there's just one thing I don't know what it means. It's BP1, BP2. What does BP stand for?
Oh, bid packages.
Okay.
So I'm kind of
Didn't
using
know
the
what that
budget
was.
as my scratch for developing the scopes of work to make sure I've got everything included.
So did you have a cost estimate, or did we see something that was laid out in this fashion? So did you have an idea of what bid package 1 might have been, and then what it actually was, or you didn't do it that way?
In front of you, I think, is the second iteration
Just
of it.
the actual.
Yeah, just what we've come up with once we got the first rendering, and now that we got the revised, based on our discussions, what you see in front of you that's what that's based on.
Is there, in your opinion, I know costs are just escalating in all areas, but is there one area that was the largest kind of area that was over budget? That would be just the largest piece?
Yeah, maybe
Is it in
it would
concrete?
be concrete, because we're facing some serious headwinds right now. We can't even get concrete. Big problems. I'm making the guess that it's going to subside a year from now. We're going to be more normal again. But I don't know that the prices will go down that much, because they have an easy time going up, but they rarely go down that much. So I've factored that in here, because I don't want to go down a road and under promise, and then all of a sudden we've committed to something that we just can't meet. So yes, that's probably the biggest surprise right now. And then I think some of these items, once we start getting more design, will be reduced, because I don't have any clarity from my perspective of the sewer work that's required, because basically we don't have that drawing yet, but they're working on it. Same goes with like electric. We think we're gonna be okay with that. We think we're gonna be able to bring the service through the raceway that's there, but right now it's still an unknown. So I've kind of priced that unknown in there right now.
Okay. So in terms of what we received, and I understand that maybe everything couldn't be done, but so this is the layout, which is a little different than what I'll call this hourglass, right? So you were saying it's compressed. When we see this one, we have, we're shooting this way, so we don't really get a close look at what the change is. Not only, so when you're doing a revised color rendering, if we're gonna get that, it might also be helpful to have what it looked like from this side, and then what it looks like from the close-up of the actual equipment side, to just see how it compares. I mean, I think it would help
You
me
could
for
just
all
point
of
out
us.
on there which one has been eliminated. I don't know if you can see it on the rendering.
Just a general comment for when we get that for next time. I guess I just wanted to understand for long-term. So if this shape around it, that is the concrete, that's the pad.
Yeah.
So is our goal, obviously we have to cut something because it was way over budget and we're getting closer to our budget. I mean, when people come here, not everyone's gonna rent the space, but some people wanna be under shade. And so I guess I just wonder, you know, you have to cut bigger areas out. What is our option for people to be under shade? Why did we pick that? When we look at, so I'd rather ask all the questions and then you comment if that's okay, because they're all in the area of cost. 35,000 is not an insignificant amount, yet in the scheme of it, you have to pull something out. The water journey was a really different piece that other districts don't have. It was part of a draw. So is our goal with this to almost like think of a master plan? Like sometimes with these, you might add a feature later or come in and bring something in a year, 2 year, or 5 year, I don't know. But I don't feel that good about having a facility that has no shade structure, and down the road, I would like to add a piece here and there to keep it refreshed. And then as you're laying down the concrete, like how much do you have to lift up when you expand it? So is that the type of conversations we're having?
Let me start with the shade.
Okay.
We have on the perimeter that exists now of the river and the slides, we have 3 shade structures that are in a grassy area. So when you look at the new design, there's a walkway that at least can get people to that. So if we have multiple day camps that want to come, so we felt like the elimination of those, and that was, I'm going to say 150, almost, well over $150,000 worth of that. In the 3 picnic areas. It was more of I'll say it started with a staff internal ask for like parties and things like that. So that was that conversation. The water journey, it's a feature that I think, James, you could probably speak more to it in terms of, he's got little kids, and it's not, well, you say, I think, what you feel about it,
Deerfield put something similar. It's nice, but a lot of kids played for, like 30 seconds and they kind of left. It's nice. It's definitely because Deerfield puts 2 similar things, the pyramids, and my kids, they liked it. It was interesting, but for the price that we're putting in, I don't know. I felt like it could have been caught. Sorry to say.
So I think that was kind of a reasoning that it was just a low level, not a ton of kids could play at the same time, and I thought it was a unique feature, but it wasn't something that, like a Canon or some other feature that a lot of kids would use. From a planned implementation standpoint, like a future, I mean, we've talked with the design team even in making sure that if there are, like, what we can put in, what Vortex can do, and Ryan has addressed this. I mean, they can put a piece in now with this plan, but 5 years from now it gets dated and we want to change it out with something new and more exciting. We can do that, and so there's that high probability that could transition. To add more to it, Carol, I mean, you're going to come back and you're going to, as Ken said, you're going to have to add more concrete, more sidewalk. This was an original design that you have the color there is a 10,000 square foot pad, as I said. The new design is 7,500, I think, roughly. 8,000.
So 7,500 versus
Here's a visual.
8,500.
Look at our skate park, okay? Our skate park is less than 5,000 square feet. So use that kind of circumference as a visual and take that space and add 3,000 square feet to it. I don't know if that helps in terms of your overall pad that you're going to have. What we found, at least talking with the team, was the essence of that elevation that still exists is real. We didn't want to change that. That's what brings people to it. That's what keeps people there. Some of the other ancillary things that we were kind of doing on that northwest end, with the water journey, and as Ryan mentioned, a couple of those other standalone features. You're not gonna be missed. We went from, I think, there's 51 features still. I don't,
It was 3 features.
features? Okay.
Two were just ground sprays that water, it's not like
Okay.
embedded concrete, so no, well, it's nice, it's not like a the play value that you would get on, like Jeff was mentioning, a spray can or something that is, utilized by movement that a kid would use, so.
Look, and hopefully, if the numbers come in better, if they come in February with bids, that we can add to it then. It's a little different because our plans that we're gonna submit to IDPH are gonna be what we agreed to in the next 30 days, or roughly, I think you're probably looking about late November, early December, Rich, to submit those. And so, does IDPH have an issue if we wanna add to it?
Yeah,
As
if we
long
can
as-
add any features, they're gonna wanna see the revised drawings, but we can send it in, and then we could always revise it and resubmit it. Even if they would give us permit, which is highly unlikely, because it's probably gonna take 8 to 10 weeks to get a response from them. But, we could always resubmit it, and that wouldn't be a problem, if we wanted to expand it.
So to summarize, we could, our way to keep this fresh is we would replace within the existing footprint. We're not looking to, it would be cost prohibitive to say in the master plan that we're gonna expand the footprint. So I wanna be sure I understand about the footprint exactly, or closer to what was the size and what is it today?
The original size to
Yes.
where we're, like, the
Yes.
first meeting we've ever had? Or
Well,
the colorized
the
photo?
last one we saw,
Colorized.
yes.
So it was, what Jeff said, 10,000 square
It was
feet.
10,000, and now we went to 7,500?
We're at 8,050,
8,000.
so,
8,050?
yes.
Okay. And can you tell us what are some common sizes of other splash pads in this area that,
I would say primarily, and Rich might speak to it better with the experience he has, I would say the average splash pad is 1,500 to 2,000 square feet.
what are some of the bigger ones that are close to our size? What is Deerfield's? What is,
I don't recall what Deerfields is, but
It's small.
Deerfield's not, Deerfield's maybe 4,000 square, I mean, it's not.
okay.
And it's very spread out, very spread out.
So ours is already extremely large compared to what people are doing?
It's very large.
Larger than I know.
It's huge.
Well, it sounds like it, which actually surprises me.
Me too.
That's the first time I heard that answer. Okay,
It's a very grand project, I can promise you that.
okay. Thank you.
As it
The
should be.
amount of features that you have is an awful lot of features.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Kessler?
I have a question. So, just to kind of recap again, in addition to the lazy river being removed, the 2 slides are being removed, the two, one?
One side.
That's what we were
One
talking
side.
about that last time, and I thought you said both of them were being removed.
The tube slide.
Two
slide.
The tube
Is the only one going.
TBE side, not 2 sides.
Okay, so one of the slides will still be, one of the big tall ones will still be
Two
working.
of them will be.
2 will still remain. We have 3 slides.
Ah, okay, okay. So, all right, I guess I'm just thinking visually. I thought I heard that they were going. So we still have something big, a slide
Yes.
going on there in that area. Okay, and then is there something outside of the scope of a water park feature that kind of is less expensive to put in as an activity? I mean, we took out this journey water thing, which was expensive, but that was for a small age group. Is there just something else to put in to make sure we're providing activities for that age group that's maybe not that I want to put more in there, but I want to make sure we're hitting all the age groups. And maybe there's something not water related, but is there anything else?
You're hitting the age group, Cindy. The
Even with
design,
getting
the
rid of this
design.
journey thing?
Yeah, the design still has, go ahead, Ryan.
The water journey was more or less like Carol was mentioning, something the area has never seen before. Bringing an element to Vernon Hills that no other park district in the area can say that they offer. And what Jeff was saying, this design still incorporates, our age groups that we like to hit from 2 to 14. And
I just want to interrupt because I was on the last meeting and we were talking about this. The whole reason we had to pull it away was to give them more space, that they wouldn't get run over by other people and things like that. So that created a lot more concrete, a lot more, so are we concerned about that? Is the new plan have an area for young ones that they're not gonna
trampled over.
trampled
Yeah.
over, to put it nicely?
I can't speak to so much of, I can't remember what we decided or what the team decided on if we're going to add any additional landscaping around where the water journey was removed from. But when we design our splash pads, we take into account all ADA accessibility, making sure that there's not really any overlap in spray, and that kids, aren't going to be running from one feature to the other and potentially harming themselves by doing that. So that's at the forefront of all of our minds when putting something like this together. Providing a space in addition to what you see now, I can't really speak to that. That might be a question best served for some other of my team members here, but that's my best answer.
Thank you.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yeah, I just have a few comments. Obviously, I don't want to go through, item by item on the costs until February, March or so, when we actually get some actual costs. But, just to go back, when we first started this discussion, we were talking about $2 million. And I had to make sure I could catch my breath on that amount. And then I know we've had several meetings increasing the max. I think we went to $2,150,000. Then we went to 2.3 million. Now we're at 2.6 million, which is 30% over the 2 million. Who knows what the number is going to be in, February, March, when we actually get some numbers. At what number do we say no? We can't exceed a certain amount, and unfortunately, we might have to cut. What is that number going to be? I thought it was 2.3 million, but I have a lot of concerns here.
Well, at the end of the day, we're not approving it until we get down to a final number.
Right.
And what that number is approved will ultimately be a board decision, so. Yeah, anything?
I had a few things. I think
Commissioner Geraldo?
you might have mentioned this at one point was at 3 million, which I might have missed that board meeting, but
The original cost estimate that Ken provided, before you even had 50% of the drawings, because the board had asked me to give him a budget.
Okay.
And so I asked Ken, you gotta give me something. I gotta deliver this to the board. And so we're using a lot of pie in the sky numbers, and it came in just shy of 3 million. So I had a conversation with Dave. I said, how do you want, we gotta go back. And so that was kind of the direction. It wasn't even anything I felt comfortable bringing to you at this point. It's the colored rendering that you have.
Is $3 million.
Is the 3 million.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay. So.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
And so then going from the 3 million to the 2.6 million, we're essentially losing that water journey and this picnic table area.
See some of the green space,
Yeah.
which is like a synthetic turf
And then the
area,
walking
and then
path
there's
around.
a lot of concrete around there for just the pad itself, the sidewalk, et cetera.
The shaded area can always be added later.
Well, I was going to speak to that. Yeah, with the way your site is with that back entrance, it's very easy in year 2, if you find out that the public wants some cantilevers over the benches, or perhaps you find programming that wants to have another, you're not having to go across a bridge or anything
That's an
difficult.
easy add.
It's very simple to do with your access road back there.
And so are there still picnic benches around? I just feel like, I don't know, Carol, if it was you that just said it, but like you want,
Yeah, James.
you want to
can-
make it a destination,
Yeah.
right? I think of like parents or moms who want to go and they want
Sure.
to pack their snacks or lunches and they want to hang out for a while. And so do they still have that?
So right now, the 3 shelters in the picture that are in the camp area do not have picnic, but the only picnic tables that are semi-permanent are in the concessions. We have talked about putting in picnic tables close to those 3 shelters that are out in the grass, and they're just trying to figure out logistically moving them for mowing, whether or not the camp crews even want them, because they put all their backpacks under there as a shade, as a spot to gather. So we're still working on some of those logistics to try and get some tables. We've talked about putting just lounge chairs, like what's on the deck, and maybe some of those plastic tables next to them. But yeah.
And then my last question was, and like Bruce, maybe I won't go through and ask lots of questions on the details of this budget, but have we, I'll say internally, or will we internally take a moment to say, like, there are certain things in the budget that would be done externally that potentially we could bring in-house?
Yeah,
Like,
we've
is there
got-
anything,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I don't know, James, if you know that off the top of your head, we don't have to take that now, but, if I'm going through this and I'm like, oh, that sounds like something maybe we could do in-house versus pay for it externally, and would it be cheaper,
Yes to that question,
Okay,
yes. When we got it, I mean, we do, James and I sit down and we do go through it line item by line. Can we do this in-house? And we notify the team to just pull that and it'll be owner,
Okay.
submitted. So that's in there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Give us another, probably at the November board meeting, we'll have we can give you an update in terms of the drawings will be 100% completed at that point, and, potentially, I won't speak for Ken, but hopefully, if everything gets to him, we can come back to you with at least maybe a little more updated. I'm not going to tell you it's not going to be still 2.6, but at least it would give you some kind of, at least final, what we would expect before it hits the street in February, and see where things are at. The timeline, again, as we've gone through, is that the pool, we went through this at our pool aquatic meeting last month, where we're looking to close the back river on July 31st. And so they would, organize with staging come that first of August, and get that all in place and begin and commence with construction on that. All of this precedes the understanding that the board will have a bond issue that will be presented to you in an ordinance form right after the first of the year, with a bond sale scheduled in, help me, Jess?
Is it April or March? Maybe?
March, probably March, which would help fund this. That's a $5 million issue that we'll be putting back before the board. There's a number of other projects that are tied to that. I provided that to you a while ago. I could certainly give you an update, but most of the other projects within that bond issue are, roofs and pretty much infrastructure items that the district needs to undertake.
And the unfortunate thing about that is, instead of paying no interest, we're now going to be paying 2-3% interest on that $5 million.
Jeff, when we met the other day, you mentioned the berms around the aquatic center were going away.
Well, I'll let James speak to that. We've talked to just using them as potentially, if we needed some landfill.
Okay.
Yeah, originally, we were gonna fill in the lazy river.
Right.
And we didn't want to bring anything in, so we were gonna start taking those berms. And we did some soil geotechnic borings, and they seem okay to use as fill. But with this plan, we are probably gonna generate fill that stays on site, so we'll be almost a net zero and not have to bring anything in or leave. Anything will have to leave.
Okay, so the berms wouldn't be touched.
The berms won't be touched. Now, the shrubs and the dead trees and some of the many trees that are there, we'll probably start taking that down this winter.
Okay. Commissioner Sente?
I think it would be nice to see a revised list of what's in that bond issue. And then, is there anything in the bond issue as a placeholder in case over the next winter we have some additional issues at the pool for, leakage or anything like that? Because we still have one more summer to go, and that can be costly.
Yeah, within that bond issue, I know we do have several improvements related to the aquatic center that are going to be in there besides a roof. We've got some
At the old bathhouse,
mechanical systems, some pumps, heating, again, getting back into infrastructure.
looking at the old original piping for the slides that are existing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, let me find where I'm going here. Next item on the agenda is the financial reports for the period ending
September 30th.
September 30th, 2022. Jessica, are there any changes to what's on file?
No changes.
Very good. Next item on the agenda, reports and communications. Facility Supervisor Lacey Velasquez. Lacey?
Good evening. Facility attendance for September at Lakeview Fitness for 2022 was 3,367 visits. That came out to about 448 unique visits. Active members at the end of last month totaled a little over 2,000 compared to 1,486 in September 2021 and 2,270 in 2019. We had Direct Fitness Solutions out earlier this month for their semi-annual maintenance. They typically come out every 6 months to work on our equipment and offer suggestions for repairs. Luckily for this visit, the list of repairs was very short, and we had a lot of the supplies in-house already, and we'll be able to do a lot of the repairs in-house. As Tyler mentioned earlier, the new studio is mostly complete. The only thing that we really are waiting on now is we have to order our new sound equipment, so we'll be working towards that together with James. As of right now, we do have a portable speaker in there, so we can host the occasional class in there. So the members are excited to be using the new space. Again, as Tyler mentioned, the pool is just about finished. We do have a scheduled reopen date of Wednesday, November 2nd. The members are really excited. They've already started reactivating memberships. So we're seeing a lot of faces that haven't been there for about 6 months now since the pool shut down. We are really excited that we do have 2 water aerobics instructors that are coming back. So Marla DeSico will be coming back for Tuesday and Thursday classes, and Sydney Porter has agreed to come back for Friday morning classes. Those classes are in the app already, so members have started to register for those classes. Lakeview Fitness will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, but we'll be open for our regular hours on the Friday after Thanksgiving. For programming, we had Zumba for Awareness, and we maxed out the class at 15 participants. The instructor, Ann, she accepted requests for songs, and the participants really enjoyed the class. We have a new personal trainer named Andy Santos. He just started with us a couple days ago. He has 10 years of experience as a trainer, and he has been an instructor with Shotokan Karate since 1990. Our next pop-up class is a Zumba Masterclass, which is coming up on November 18th for a cost of $10. And we have another Yoga for Recovery class coming up November 13th. We also want to make our members aware and the public aware that we do still have virtual fitness classes. So these are classes that are available to Lakeview Fitness members at no additional cost. But for those who are looking to just participate in virtual classes, we offer these classes at a separate cost from the membership, and they are welcome to participate in those separate from any of the Lakeview Fitness classes that are held in person. We had 29 people enter the 20 Club for the month of September. 3 people were brand new, and 6 people have been members for the entire 9 months that we've been running the program. We have a flash sale that's coming up. October 30th is the one day that we are selling this pass. It's a 2-month membership. It's called Fun Size Fitness. So it's a 2-month membership for $60, and the membership is valid November 1 through December 31. And then this Sunday is the last Sunday for Spooky Sundays in October. So members, our patrons have been able to come and visit the facility for free every Sunday in October. And then we have Thankful Thursdays in November, where the facility will be open to the public for free on Thursdays, except for Thanksgiving Day when we're closed. Lastly, we had Heather Rabbit and one of our newer trainers, Andre, at the Healthy Lifestyle Fair at the Vernon Hills High School yesterday. They provided an interactive fitness challenge to the students, and they discussed membership options and employment options for the high school students. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Lacey?
I had a question,
Commissioner
Lacey.
Robbins.
Oh, once we're finished with everything and open 100%, are we going to be having some type of opening event party and blast to the community of what we've done? And
We will. We are planning a kind of a reopening party on January 7th from 8 to noon. So we're kind of combining our reopening with the 10-year anniversary of Lakeview opening when we took over from the Y. So yes, we will have a celebration.
thank you.
Anything else?
Does it make sense to do that a week or two earlier, if possible, knowing that people get into the January fitness, New Year, health club? Oh, sorry, I just joined one last week.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Would it make sense to do it end of December before people start getting into their New Year's resolutions and, showing off before people make their resolution versus after they make the resolution and now they may have already joined another facility because, well, it's just, we're already a week into the year. My resolution was on the 1st and I'm ready to go.
I think the full month of January is kind of a mad rush we typically experience a pretty good rush of new members throughout the whole month of January. And we're trying to be a little bit conservative with the date that we picked, not knowing when the facility was going to be complete. So we wanted to make sure all renovations were complete before we hosted
Understood.
a reopening.
Commissioner Kessler?
To kind of follow your line of thought, we could still promote that we're having an opening in December, or, that the grand opening is coming, and save the date and kind of build up hype, and they can come always look at it before the grand opening too.
Absolutely.
So, I think that is a good point to make sure we capture them and just to let them know ahead of time that it's coming.
We do have an announcement that's in the program guide that's coming out in November.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Park Superintendent James Kim. James?
Good evening. I'll just start with our lake and pond recreation areas. Another reminder that our fishing on our properties requires a DNR fishing license for 16 and over. We've had a lot of complaints, and we can't monitor it. The police have tried. It's really hard to catch people. DNR, Conservation Police do stop by once a week, and I do get a report once in a while, which is nice. They are really short-staffed too. Sticking with that, please refrain from entering our bodies of water when it's icy. We do not monitor ice conditions, and I'll follow up with that probably in December as well. Our seasonal restrooms, we're scheduled to close on Tuesday, November 1st. And I can understand the next week we're still going to be in the upper 50s, low 60s, but overnight we're getting past freezing. It's not really worth taking a chance for anything to freeze. The pipes may not freeze, but the little aerators inside the sinks, the little water that's inside the urinal flush closets, it gets cold at night. So all of our restrooms will be closed, including Hartman, the exterior. Century Park North Pavilion will remain open as a year-round facility. And then, as we have since Last year, we are going to provide porta potties at all of our restroom facilities or in the bathrooms or close by. I'll skip our construction updates. In your packet, there was a rendering for the final Deer Path Warrington Playground. At NRPA, we did see some new equipment through landscape structure. So I asked them to include the Revy Rock bouncer that was at the show. That was age appropriate for that group, so that was a little over budget, but I felt like it was a good choice just to fill in the space. Also, in your packet, we have a small rendering for Westwood Playground. Over the years, the Westwood subdivision, which is Butterfield and 45, has experienced a huge turnover, and so we've had some comments about there being a 0 to 5, 2 to 5 playground. Right now, it's a fairly aggressive 5 to 12. It's a little taller structure, and we only provided 2 little spring rockers for our younger ones. So instead, we worked with landscape structure again, because they're the ones that put in the playground, so they had all the drawings. Put in a 2 to 5 playground between the swings and the main structure. And so that's what you see in there. That rendering is $28,000, including installation. And that also includes the price to reinstall 2 of the posts that are on the existing structure. Are there any questions on either one of those before I move on?
Commissioner Geraldo?
In the rendering, are you saying the swings and the taller
Well, those are existing. Those were
already
made,
exist? So it's
yes.
just this little middle
The
section
middle
here?
section and the panel, the low panel, so the
Okay, thank you.
and we've had a lot of comments, so it is actually in our capital improvement plan to add that. Sticking with playgrounds, after some discussions with Jeff, we have decided to push off the playground renderings and project for Hawthorne Melody Park, which is determined that $100,000 wasn't enough. And that includes 30, 35, 40% for installs, so our budget for equipment is really 65 at most. So instead, we've decided to push up the 2 to 5 playground over at Grosse Point. It's at the corner of Grosse Point and Southfield Drive. It's an older landscape structure. It's roughly 21 years old. We hope to put some renderings in for the November 17th board meeting. 290 Oakwood, we've awarded a contract with Joler Demolition out of Arlington Heights, not to exceed $23,000, to demo the 290 Oakwood facility, which was the old SRA CLC offices. It's really a double-wide trailer. So I knew it wasn't going to come in very high. Right now, I'm working on shutting off and removing all the utilities before they can come out, and we're looking to do that maybe right after Thanksgiving.
Fire department does want it.
They wanted to do some training, but it was, timing never worked out and just ornate. There might have been some neighborhood, not complaints, but flashbacks from 2000 when it actually was on fire, and that was something that was a little bit concerning. And then lastly, we have our annual pumpkin composting event happening over at the park maintenance facility. It's 1400 Indianwood. It's Friday, November 4th from 7 to 4 p.m. We're accepting pumpkins, gourds, corn stalks, and other natural or organic fall decorations. I just want to point out to our public, we are not a composting facility. This is just a one-time event to try and keep that out of the landfill. We actually use the materials in-house, and we grind it with our community garden materials, and we make our own compost to be used next spring. For additional composting drop-off, please visit the Swalco website. And that concludes my report. If there are any questions.
Any questions for James? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Finance HR Superintendent Jessica Mitchell.
In September, the district received $1,850,000 in property tax revenue, which makes up 87% of our $5,600,000 tax levy. As of September 30th, the district has just over $7 million in cash and investments. That's $3,700,000 in investments and 25 certificates of deposit with maturing dates over the next 60 months. $2,680,000 is invested in the Fifth Third overnight investment account. $870,000 is available for current transactions. In September, capital expenditures were at $89,101, and some of the most significant expenses include $30,000 for Grosse Pointe Tennis Court renovations, $18,000 on Lakeview Fitness Architect Services, $11,000 on sound baffles at Lakeview Fitness, and $11,000 at Family Aquatic Centers for the spray feature engineering services. The district recently received Paderma's medical insurance plan increases for 2023. There are slight increases, but the most notable is actually a decrease in the vision cost, and that is a decrease overall of 15.3% across the board. This decrease is due to a change in the vision plan provider from Blue Cross Blue Shield till 2023 will be covered by Davis Vision. Open enrollment takes place for employees in November. Just a couple notes to make you aware that the district annual comprehensive financial report has been filed with Lake County, as well as a notice of availability of audit published in the Vernon Hills Review on October 27th. Lauterbach and Amon, the district's audit team, has submitted our report to the Illinois Office of the Comptroller on behalf of the Park District as well, which is part of their agreed upon services. Additionally, the GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement Review for fiscal year 22 has also been submitted this month. The Treasury Report statement was filed with Lake County also. And a couple financial calendar notes to add. Following today's hearing we had for that $3.7 million bond, the bond sale will take place on November 16th. And on November 17th, we will have a recommendation for board action for the adoption for the rollover 2022 bond ordinance. Additionally, we are currently working on next year's levy, and we'll have information for the board in the next few weeks. At this time, we don't know whether or not we will need to do the truth in taxation public hearing. Lots of numbers. At this time, that concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Jessica? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Marketing and Communications Manager Cheryl Buteman. Cheryl?
Good evening, everyone. The Winter Spring Program Guide is complete. It's going to our printer next week. It will be mailed the week of November 22nd, posted to our website on the 22nd, and as a reminder, resident registration begins when it's posted. This guide will include the annual report, and we'll also have the announcement of our 50th anniversary celebration in July with just minimal details, because we'll obviously in the summer guide we'll have a lot of details. And as Lacey said, we'll also have our announcement of the reopening celebration of Lakeview Fitness. Excuse me. Just almost finishing up Halloween. Cassidy has done a great job on social media. We've had a pumpkin decorating contest, which ended yesterday. We had so many entries, and so I know you've been seeing some of them on our social media platforms. We're just going to random pick winners because every pumpkin was wonderful. I think Lacey's done some trick-or-treat fitness challenges, and on both Lakeview and just general district, we've had some trivia, and we've also had some winners for that. So it's been a fun week, and obviously it's going to end with our big celebration for Fall Fest coming up on tomorrow night. If you haven't seen Sully, he has been very busy all over town in all his costumes. So I think he'll be making... he'll be over at Fall Fest too. I'm not sure. I think I do know what he's wearing, but I'm not going to ruin it for everybody. I'm pretty sure I know what he's wearing. Our Fun Fitness membership is only available to purchase on the 30th, but we have begun promoting it. We do want people to know it's a busy time of year, so we thought a week prior, so it's gone out to the community. It's on our website, on social media, so we're hoping to get some people purchase that. And then that's going to kind of move right into Lakeview Fitness is doing a lock in your rates. I know Lacey's sending letters to her members. We're also going to be promoting it to our community in general and to lock in our 2022 rates before they increase on January 1st. Our scholarship giving tree is everything's set for it. We're really excited about it. Everything's been purchased that we might need for it. We have our trees, we have our signage that's been ordered, and we're good to go. So that will be going up in both facilities, Lakeview Fitness and Sullivan Center, on the 14th. And I'll speak for Amy. the Midwest Veterans Coat Drive has been a huge success. We've already had a truck full come and pick up so many coats. So thank you to our community for coats, hats, mittens, everything they've been donating. The deadline to donate for that will be November 16th. And you can see from the social media, just my little chart about all the fun top 3 posts that's been going on all of our platforms. That's it for this evening. If you have any questions. Yes.
Just a quick question about the coat drive. Is that new, both new and gently used? And is there a list of other items that they want with like hats,
Yes, it could be
scarves?
new and gently used, all sizes. It's really warm weather wear, so it can be hats, mittens.
Cold weather wear, you
Yeah,
meant?
I'm sorry. To keep you warm. Hoodies they listed, and they even listed this year for canines, for their pets, for the the dog coats and stuff. Yeah,
We have bins out front?
we do. We have 3 big buns right in front.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda? Tom Ritter.
I forgot Tom.
I forgot Tom.
I was like, we noticed.
Thank you. Happy Thursday. As we approach the new calendar year, that's when the Sullivan Center probably gets second most busy to the summer camp season. On Saturdays, our youth basketball program takes over this facility greatly. The registration is going on and just for late registration right now. Saturday will be skill day, and after skill day is done, Jay Bullman spends most of November with drafts, with coaches, putting teams together. And then right after Thanksgiving, practices start the week of November 28th, and games begin on January 14th. A week prior to that, we do have a first and second grade program that starts January 7th. Again, same facility, and both of these programs run through the middle of March. Common theme, but he's looking for coaches. So he has more coaches at the 3rd and 4th grade level, but as you go 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, some of the parents back off a little bit. So if anybody knows anybody who's interested in coaching youth basketball, pretty mild commitment. Usually it's 1 practice per week and then 1 game. Please reach out to us here at the Sullivan Center. Along the same sport, adult basketball starts also in January. We have 4 different leagues, different skill sets. They play on Tuesday and Thursday evenings at the local schools. Registration starts November 14th. Those applications will be available here at the Sullivan Center. Also, program run by Jay. We've had 2 of our Halloween events in October already. We had the Scarecrow Fest, and then we had Trucks, Trunks, and Treats, which was somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 people. Concludes with our annual Fall Fest tomorrow night here at the Sullivan Center. As of right now, we have about 450 people that have purchased tickets, but we always get, yesterday it was like 350, so it goes up really fast the week of. I'm anticipating probably around 600 people will be here tomorrow night because you can buy your tickets at the entrance. And again, this is for those that aren't familiar. It's trick-or-treating in the gym. It's a safe indoor environment to trick-or-treat with community organizations, as well as a magic show and a craft and other activities all related to Halloween. So dress up your kids and come on out for a nice community event. And we close out the calendar year with our 7th, I can't believe it's been 7 years already, but our family New Year's Eve party. We'll be doing that on Friday night, the 30th of December, so it keeps the Saturday free for maybe the parents want to go do something else. But for Friday night, they're here from 4 to 6:30, and we do a ball drop and a whole bunch of fun activities. This event does sell out every year, so I would encourage people to sign up for this sooner than later. I don't usually mention the Polar Express because it sells out. It's probably our fastest selling event every year. It's sold out by September. But the Polar Express Storytime Train, this year, Saturday, December 10th, the train lines weren't available, so we're doing it on a Sunday for the first time. But if anyone inquires, it is sold out. We take a waiting list, but it's a tough one to get into. There's 3 different train runs that go to the North Pole and back on that morning. And this year, we're going to be having a visit from Santa Claus over at Hartman Park, and details will be out regarding the date and time in the winter spring program guide, which comes out at the end of November. But just something to, have the kids get their wish list ready. Commissioner Geraldo did mention last month, we had a successful trivia night, just threw out the idea of why not do 2. So it actually changed a little bit since I even wrote this, because we're just finalizing the program guide, as I mentioned, and we decided instead of doing 2 family ones, we wanted to make one more for adults, so like a pub trivia, which is also a very popular thing that goes on. So we're going to do a pub trivia in May, first week of May, still here at the Sullivan Center for 21 and over. So we'll have a family one in the fall, and we'll have an adult one in the spring. I like to mention each year, as part of our partnership with the Vernon Hills Soccer Club, one of the unique things that we do is we do provide all the registration for them. We collect all the registration on their behalf. It's a tedious process, and if you don't have all the software, it can be cumbersome. So I think they really appreciate that we do that for them annually for their 2 seasons. And it is a program that you register well in advance. So they're taking spring registration already, and you can do that here at the Park District. It's in our current fall program guide. It will also be in the winter spring guide. That's when most people start looking for that registration. And then finally, I continue to participate on the IPRA Awards Committee. I lead a segment that has to do with programs and special events, and it's something I enjoy doing to help out with IPRA. And those winners are always recognized at the IPRA conference annually. So that's my report. Unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Executive Director Jeff Boudreau. You okay?
Okay, let's, I just wanted to back up and thank our park and facility staff for all they do. It is the foundation of our park district, our parks, and I think what Dave eloquently stated, how we get a lot of great comments about just how our parks look comparatively to our neighbors, and it's a lot to the staff that were here tonight and what they do. And next month, we're going to be bringing up and recognizing our front desk, our customer service staff. So I think all of us here, but we all come up. I was thinking about this as I was sitting there. We all, the leadership team, but we never get to hear from Amy. And so I'm going to make sure Amy's on the agenda next month, so you get to hear a little bit about what she does for the district besides just being my assistant and about 10 other people's assistant. She had a birthday just last week, and I know I'm getting off, and I was like, I said to my wife, I said, I get her these gifts every year, and it's like, what can we do different, and so the team got together and we did a little surprise breakfast for her, and you would see, a lot of people showed up to this thing, and it's a testament to how many people that she directly impacts with our district. So I wanted to just make that public in terms of what she does. She's just an amazing person. So thank you for that. Jessica, in her report, we do want to just announce we have 2 full-time positions. We have a child care position that just came about within the last week or so, where we had a staff member kind of abruptly resign. So that's really important to us in our operations over there. And then James's staff is still, we're just really challenged with finding this facility maintenance tech that works in this facility and also helps at our aquatic center. And it's kind of a specially skilled position, but when you go to our job site in our industry, there's multiple districts who are looking for a similar person. So it's a very competitive market. We feel like we pay pretty well, considerably, but then there's also villages who are doing the same thing, and typically villages might pay a little bit north of us. So it's been hard. We've been doing this since May, James. We've been kind of looking hard, or maybe even sooner than that.
It sounds right, yes.
For the public, if anybody's viewing it, please go to our website. It's a facility maintenance tech position. You'll work for a great place, and we hope that people that see this maybe would consider applying for that. I want to just talk about 2 weeks from tonight. Commissioner Sente is going to lead a board development. That is a public meeting, so that's at 5 p.m. for the board, just as a reminder. And Carol she shared an agenda just with Dave and I yesterday, and we'll get that out to you. And then she's got some other kind of ancillary items that'll be added to that. So please look for that as board members. We'll get that going. So the Lakeview Fitness Project, you heard about the pool. We've been saying November 2nd, so when I heard Tyler say it might be November 3rd, I said, we got to talk after this meeting, because we're not opening November 3rd. We're opening November 2nd, so you got to make it happen. And also just kind of tonight where I think Tom Poulos put them on, like, we don't really have an end date. What's the end date? So you all learned as much as I learned today that he's talking mid-December, when in our project meetings, we thought it was a little sooner than that. So that's another conversation I got to have. So, right, Lacey? I mean, yeah. Yeah, we were told November, so now something's transpired that we just want to make sure that we get that rest of that building open by that time. You have a couple items on your agenda after I speak with IEPD credentials. That's the annual IEPD business meeting on that Saturday afternoon, where the board has to at least nominate or say, 2 of you that are going to attend that meeting. You also have your board meeting calendar there that we're going to approve tonight. So assuming everything's okay with that, make sure you get those dates in your calendar, especially as we get into January and February, where we have a capital project meeting, we have a budget workshop. Those are really important to just make sure you block out that time, because those are fairly lengthy workshops that we do prior to the board meeting. And then lastly, just before we get into November, well, Thanksgiving will be coming up on you, but November 8th, I would encourage you, if you have a chance, that's a voting day. If you haven't already voted there's early voting. Please get out and vote. I think it's really important, as your right as a citizen. And we will be facilitating, our site here at Sullivan is we have multiple polling signs, so please, everybody should be encouraged to get out and vote. That's all I got. I'd be happy to answer any questions from anybody.
Any questions for Jeff? Thank you very much. Next item, we have no old business. We'll move on to new business. The 2023 Park Board meeting schedule. Could I have a motion to approve the 2023 Park Board meeting schedule?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo? Yes. Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item is the 2023 IAPD annual business meeting credential. Are there any commissioner volunteers to be the district's delegate and alternate for the 2023 IAPD annual business meeting on Saturday, January 28th, 2023? I'll volunteer.
Alternate.
You want to be the alternate? All right, may I have a motion to approve David Dorhofer as the IAPD annual business meeting delegate and Carol Sente as the first alternate?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yeah. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Sente.
I just wanted to mention that I'm going to send out tomorrow the agenda, and there's also going to be an assessment. So that's not going to take long. It's if you ever heard of it, the Clifton Strengths Finders. And that we'll use that for our, on the 7th.
Commissioner Robbins.
Nothing this evening.
Commissioner Geraldo.
None for me as well.
Commissioner Kessler.
I just wanted to thank the maintenance staff again for being here. I enjoyed hearing about what they do. What I really enjoyed is just seeing the dynamics amongst each other and what a great atmosphere it seems to be, and how it actually spills over to when they interact with our residents. So it was really great meeting them, so thank you.
And for myself, Amy, happy birthday.
Thank you.
29 again?
Yes.
Yes.
Well played. With that, could I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. We are adjourned.